Hey, I'm Harper and I got a story to share. I'm 27 now, but let's rewind to when I was 13. That is when life decided to throw me a curveball by taking my mom away. It was a tough time and I felt like I was struck in a never-ending storm. But in the midst of it all, my dad, Owen, was my sunshine. You know those heartwarming moments, like when Dad used to tuck me in at night? I would pretend to be asleep, but he'd whisper those comforting words. Good night, my girl. Tomorrow's another day. Your mom is looking out for us from wherever she is. It might sound cheesy, but it meant the world to me. Dad became a completely different person. He was heartbroken, as we all were. But he somehow found the strength to put on a brave face for me. I could see the pain in his eyes, but he never let it show. That is the kind of dad he was and still is. There were days when I would walk into the kitchen just to see him cry, but he didn't notice I was there. Then, when I turned 17, Dad met Martha, a very attractive woman who swept him off his feet. They fell head over heels in love, and would you believe it, they tied the knot. Now, Martha had a daughter, Camilla, who was pretty much my age. I did not like both of them, but I knew that my dad was genuinely happy with Martha. And that was worth more than anything else. It had been ages since I had seen him smile like that. When Camilla and Martha first moved in, it was tough, especially with my dad urging me to adjust and make them feel welcome. It felt like I was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, but I did my best. When my dad left for work, it felt like Martha and Camilla had teamed up against me. They had their own secret language, little jokes and moments they shared, and I often felt like an outsider in my own house. Once I tried to join in their laughter, but they exchanged one of those "we know something you don't" looks. I swear I felt like I was the punchline in a joke I was not in on. Martha, well, she was more focused on her new life and marriage, so she didn't pay much attention to me. But Camilla, on the other hand, seemed to make it her mission to torment me. First, she would borrow my things without asking and return them in a horrible state. My favorite books had torn pages and my makeup looked like it had survived a hurricane. When I would confront her, she'd just shrug and say, "Sorry, I didn't realize." Yeah, right. One day Camilla crossed a line, and it was a line I had drawn around something very precious to me. No one was home, and Camilla must have thought it was a perfect opportunity. She openly walked into my room, cigarette in hand, and before I could even react, she was making a disturbing attempt to set my Polaroid box on fire with her lighter. That box was a treasure chest of memories full of Polaroids of me and my deceased mother. Each picture was a piece of my heart, a connection to a time that I could not bring back. "Camilla, please put that lighter down. You're going to ruin something very precious to me. Those are my mom's pictures." "You are such a buzzkill, Harper. Can't you just loosen up for once? Always with your nose buried in books and trying to please your dad. He's not even someone that I like, but hey, he's the one who's paying for this house and the food in the fridge. I can spend all his money if I want. How dare you say that about my dad? You and your mom have always made me feel like an outsider in my own home." "Well, you know what? This is our home now, and guess what? I can make new rules. Rule number 1, I should always punish you whenever you cross me. Don't rat me out and tell my mom I was a smoking loser." Camilla dropped that lighter and set my mom's pictures on fire, and it felt like my heart was ripped right out of my chest. Those memories, the only thing I had left of my mom, turned to ashes. I tried to explain what went down to my dad, but he came up with something unexpected. He said, "Camilla's still pretty young, Harper. She's got to adjust to this new family and new life. It was not easy for her as well. Maybe she did not realize how important those pictures were." I could not believe what I was hearing. I felt like he was defending Camilla, not understanding the hurt I was going through. I felt isolated, like my dad did not get the depth of my pain. So I decided to just let it slide. For another year, I had to deal with Camilla's hostility and her never-ending teasing. I thought maybe with time things would change. When Camilla and I headed off to college, I started looking back on those years we spent together. He even paid for both of our college tuitions. I could not help but appreciate my dad's patience and kindness through all that chaos. He has always been a good man trying to do right by everyone. College years were a whole new chapter in my life. Camilla and I ended up at different colleges, which should have made our encounters at home more bearable, but it was quite the opposite. It felt like Camilla was always trying to compete with me, trying to prove that she was the better daughter. Every time we returned home for holidays, Camilla seemed to up her game in the competition to exclude me from the family. Martha was in on it too, rarely. They used to forget to invite me to family birthdays and celebrations. As college came to an end, Camilla and I found ourselves back in our hometowns, but our paths took different routes. Camilla was quick to secure a job and her own apartment, while I chose to take a break before diving into the job market. I had spent years studying and was eager for a breather. Although I had a degree in psychology, I was considering further studies and wanted to save up for it through part-time work. Camilla was always the go-getter. She landed a job straight out of college and was already on her way to establishing her independence. She rented her own place while I had to move back into my dad's house. Camilla used to come over for dinner every weekend. So, Camilla, how's your new job? Well, at least I did not move back to Owen's house and it pays my bills, so I would say it's good. Now, let's not start with that, girls. Camilla, Harper has her own path. Just let her be. Yeah, but Mom, she's almost 23 and she has never even dated anyone. What's her problem? I'm just taking my time, Camilla. I have more important things to focus on right now. I heard you're a big fan of romance novels, Harper. Probably the closest you will ever get to a relationship. Can we please focus on enjoying this meal together? And her job? What does she even do? Work at Walmart? I am trying to save up for another degree. Too bad this time Owen isn't paying for it. Because I asked him not to. I want to do this on my own. Camilla, let us not make this dinner uncomfortable. Harper's probably here because she can't afford to live anywhere else. Fast forward 3 years and things have shifted. I had made progress in my career, working as an assistant psychologist with a senior mentor, and life was treating me well. I had moved into my own apartment, embracing my independence. While I was still single, my focus was on my career, and that was perfectly fine. Camilla had also moved forward, and I genuinely felt happy for her. Camilla had found happiness in a 2-year relationship with her boyfriend Joey. He often appeared as a mysterious presence at our family dinners, but it was clear they were content together. It was no longer a constant battle from my end, at least, but she still acted immediately like we were teenagers, competing for prom queen. One day, I received an unexpected call from Camilla. Hey, Harper, you want to meet up? There's something I need to talk to you about. Sure, Camilla. Is everything all right? Yeah, I'll explain when we meet. How about I text you the address of this restaurant I know? Sounds good. Let's meet there. I could not help but be taken by surprise when Camilla asked to meet up one-on-one. It was a first, and after all these years, I was intrigued. I could not wait to see what Camilla had in mind. It was Sunday, and I reached the address Camilla had texted me. 15 minutes later, Camilla arrived. Camilla, you have never wanted to see me one-on-one before. What's going on? I do have some news to share with you. Well, I'm all ears. It must be something big. That's why you especially wanted to meet me all alone. Joey proposed to me. Wow, Camilla, that's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, it's pretty special. Look at my ring. Camilla flashed her huge ring at me. It is a massive diamond worth around $300,000. Joey said I deserve every penny he spent on it. It's beautiful, Camilla, truly stunning. I bet it's quite a step up from the kind of jewelry you're used to seeing. Well, yeah, it's definitely on another level. Not that it's your fault. You're always going to be in the low-income bracket, working as a psychologist, or should I say an assistant psychologist? Camilla, you know my profession helps people, and I'm proud of what I do. And speaking of helping, I heard you have been seeing a therapist yourself, Harper. Well, yeah, I've been going to therapy. Harper, it must be so lonely for you. Thanks to Owen, he has such a big mouth. He told me about how your first boyfriend, that photographer guy, cheated on you with some model, and that too within a week. You must feel so insecure. I mean, you should have seen it. Who would choose you over a model? I felt a bit betrayed, but I am confident in who I am. That's the difference between us, Harper. I choose luxury, success, and beauty. You, well, you're just content with mediocrity. Joey has always appreciated a woman who knows how to keep her man happy. Something you could learn from. Maybe then you would not be so lonely. You are the last person I would like to learn anything from. You have a lonely life and a job that does not pay half as well as you'd want it to. Camilla, did you invite me here just to insult me and show off your ring? Well, you needed to hear it sooner or later, and I wanted to let you know something else while we're at it. You are not invited to my engagement party. I appreciate the heads up, Camilla, but I don't need to attend your party. You better not tell my mom or Owen about this, and if by some bizarre chance you decide to show up with them, I'm warning you, Harper. I'll have you kicked out. We're going to have a classy event, and I don't want a poor, broke girl like you ruining the vibes. Camilla, don't worry. You will not see me there. I went back home, and the words Camilla had thrown at me were still echoing in my mind. It's one thing to be honest, but she had taken it to a whole new level. I couldn't help but feel disrespected. Days passed and I knew the engagement party had taken place. I saw the pictures of Camilla posted on social media. Everyone was there except me. I didn't attend, of course. Part of me wondered what it would have been like, but I realized that I was better off without the toxic atmosphere Camilla brought into my life. My dad gave me a call. Harper, I was really hoping you would make it to the engagement party. Camilla was looking forward to seeing you. Oh, Dad, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. I had an emergency patient, and you know how it is with work. That's understandable, but it was a lovely evening. Camilla was stunning, and everyone had a great time. I'm just so happy for her. She's excited about the wedding. The wedding? You mean she's getting married soon? Yes, she and Joey are planning to tie the knot next year. In fact, she asked me to walk her down the aisle. I'm over the moon about it. You are walking her down the aisle? Yes, it's a huge honor. She said she could not imagine anyone else doing it. Well, that's wonderful, Dad. Anyway, I gotta go. Talk to you later. I had always hoped that Dad and I would create new memories together after the loss of my mom. It was the life I had envisioned for us, but instead, Camilla was the one experiencing those moments. I was supposed to be the one walking down the aisle with him. Camilla and I had never really connected, and it was no secret that she did not particularly like me or my dad. It was a mystery to me why she would ask my dad to walk her down the aisle, especially when it seemed like she was just doing it to rub it in my face. Well, it certainly worked, but not for long. I had my own life, and I believed I would have all those things too when it was the right time for me. About a month later, I was driving through a posh neighborhood one sunny day on my way to see a friend when I spotted my dad standing in front of a grand mansion with a for sale sign in the yard. He was engaged in an intense conversation with a well-dressed man, and it immediately piqued my curiosity. The mansion was breathtaking, the kind of place that most people could only dream of living in. I pulled over to the side and got out of my car. "Hey, Dad." My dad exchanged goodbyes with the man in the suit and walked towards me. "Dad, I couldn't help but notice you in front of that mansion. Did you just buy it? I saw you looking over some papers." "You caught me. Yes, I did just buy it." "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." "But wait, is the house for you and Martha?" "No, sweetheart, it's not for us." "Then who's it for?" "I'm doing a favor for an old friend, and this mansion is for him." "A mansion like this? Jesus, Dad, he must have helped you big time." "That's right. Please keep this between us for now." "Sure, Dad, I won't say a word. Your secret's safe with me." You know, my dad was quite the computer tech nerd. He was brilliant at what he did, and it earned him some big bucks. The thing about him was he never flaunted it. He spent his money on the people he valued and loved, but he was always modest and humble. You would never guess he had all that wealth just by looking at him. He was not one to show off. Like this one time, my dad's childhood friend found himself in a financial crisis. His business had taken a hit, and he was on the brink of losing his home. My dad, without a second thought, offered him a substantial sum to save his house and his business as well, and never even mentioned the money again. He had a big heart like that. So when I saw him buying that mansion, I was not really surprised. I mean, with the money he had, he could probably buy 5 of those places. But that was not his style. He had always put others first. It was something I admired about him. It was a few weeks later when something unusual happened. Camilla showed up at my apartment carrying a set of tools I had asked my dad for. It was entirely out of character for her to be helpful like this. "Thanks for the tools. Would you like to come in for some coffee?" "Sure, I'll take that coffee. I could use some." "So, Camilla, I've been curious about something. Why did you ask Dad to walk you down the aisle at your engagement party? I mean, you never seem to like him much." "Oh, Harper, you really don't get it, do you? Let me enlighten you. Your dear old dad, Owen, isn't my father. He paid for my college, gave me a roof over my head, and did his best to help me. He's like a sad old man trying to make up for his failures." "Camilla, that's really harsh. How dare you talk shit about my dad like that? He sees you like his own daughter." "That isn't enough, Harper. Let's get one thing straight. I don't care about you or your dad. I'm finally getting married to Joey. He is rich. He can provide better for me, and I can even take better care of my mom. Owen is not my responsibility. You better work your butt off to help him because you guys are broke." "Camilla, that is not fair. You know Dad would do anything for you." "Anything he can, which is not much, is it? Your dad's a good guy, but he is just not up to our standards. Joey bought us a new house. Did I tell you about that? It is lavish, spacious, and so much better than anything Owen could provide." "Really? Here, take a look at this, 'cause you sure wouldn't be allowed in here." "Your poor father could never afford a place like this for me and my mother." When I saw the picture of the house, I couldn't contain my laughter. It was the house my dad had bought some time back. "Is this some kind of a joke, Camilla? That house my dad bought a while back." "No, Joey bought that house. You are so oblivious to the truth, Harper." "Let's go over to Dad's place right now and settle this." As we drove over to Dad's place, tension filled the car. Camilla and I argued about the house. I couldn't believe she thought Joey had bought that house, which was actually Dad's recent investment. After a 30-minute drive, that felt like an eternity, we finally reached our location. Martha was not home, and Dad was all alone. "Owen, Harper just doesn't understand that I'm moving on to a better life with Joey. She thinks you bought that house." "Camilla, we are here, so let's just hear the truth. Dad bought this house for your friend, right? Camilla, you are delusional if you believe Joe is responsible for buying this place. Hold on, both of you. Let me explain. I did purchase that house, but it wasn't for some friend, Harper. Sorry for lying to you like that. It was for Joey. Joey told me he helped his aunt to pay for this expensive surgery and was running short of money. But he wanted to surprise you too with a new place before the wedding, Camilla. I decided to use my savings to help him. He told me to keep it a secret and promised to pay it back. That can't be true. Joey's aunt is in a very good shape. I believe my dad. He's not the one lying here. You might want to talk to your fiancé, Camilla. Excuse me. I need to leave. Camilla left my dad's house in a hurry, her face pale as a ghost. I couldn't help but wonder if Joey had been lying to her, manipulating her into believing that the house was his grand gesture. A few days passed after that heated conversation. What I have heard from my dad was the wedding had been cancelled and Camilla and Joey broke up. I couldn't shake off the anger and disappointment I felt about Camilla and how she had spoken about my dad. I mean, how could she, after everything my dad had done for her, after helping her countless times, providing a roof over her head and paying for her college education? She had the audacity to criticize him. But it wasn't just about my dad, it was also how she had ridiculed me for not being as successful as she was, for not having a so-called lavish lifestyle like she did. I needed answers. I could not let her think she could treat my dad this way and get away with it. So I headed over to her place. What are you doing here? We didn't get to finish what we were talking about the other day. How could you say those things about my dad and me after everything he's done for you? He's been nothing but kind. Can you go a little easy on me? I just broke up with Joey. He had no money left, Harper. He gambled it all away, and the engagement ring he got me, that was fake. There was no aunt who needed surgery. It was all a ruse to convince your dad to buy that house for him. Harper, you and your pathetic dad are the last people I care about right now. Camilla, it seems like you will never learn your lesson. I almost felt sorry for you, but with an attitude like that, maybe you do deserve it. So here I am in a world that is opening up for me. Camilla, she's out of my life now. You know, after our confrontation, I decided to break off all contact with her. And after all that has happened, I don't feel bad for her anymore. What surprised me, though, was the talk I had with my dad. I just had to let him know the truth about Camilla's intentions. He was upset, naturally, but it was high time he knew the reality of what had been going on. I had to make him aware that not everyone in our lives can be trusted, especially not people like Camilla and her shady connections. You should never talk poorly about people or belittle them, because what goes around can certainly come around, just as it did with Camilla. You never really know what someone is going through or what might come back to haunt you in the future. Cheers!